4 tools for plumbers. We recently launched 3 that covered 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and 1.5 inch copper cutting. User feedback has been phenomenal. Your readers submitted hundreds of photos showing their cutters that were either broken or rusted, leading to premature failure. And users told us that they were hungry for a better solution. So this year we're going to expand the line. We're going to offer more styles and more sizes to cover a wider range of applications and deliver better solutions to these users. These will include close quarter cutters. These will be used in the tightest spaces. Mini cutters will receive more SKUs to cover more sizes. We'll add an additional constant swing cutter as well as quick adjust cutters for the largest sizes. Now across every one of these subcategories, users tell us that rust is a huge issue. So every one of our cutters will feature chrome rollers for best-in-class rust protection because these tools are constantly exposed to water. So for every one of these, you're going to get that exact same chrome roller to prevent rust. Now let's talk about each one of these individually. Close quarter cutters are used in the tightest spaces. It's where a user is going to get in maybe up against drywall, similar to this application we have shown here. So it's critical that the tool have a small profile and a small swing radius. So we designed these to be the most compact in the industry, allowing users access to the tightest spaces. And then for durability, not only did we chrome plate the rollers, but just like our batteries, we integrated weep holes in the body of the tool. So as water fills the tool, it can drain right from the bottom, eliminating water from the equation. So we made it more durable, we made it smaller, but then we also made it easier to use. You'll see on the outside we have this spiky grip. The idea here is that it gives users better grip, but it also allows users to feel which way they need to turn the tool. This only spins in one direction, as shown by the arrow. If the user can't see that arrow, they can actually feel it on the outside of the tool, allowing them to make their cut if they're behind a joist or in a tight, dark space. It also fits perfectly in the jaws of our straight jaw pliers when the user's in a tight spot where they may not be able to turn it using their fingers. Now each size of close quarter cutter has a dedicated size of tube that it will cut. So we'll have a 1/2 inch, a 3/4, and a 1 inch to span the most common applications, and also sell this in a 3-piece set that comes in a carrying case. When we talk to users about their mini cutters, again, they're using these for tight spaces, but you get a little more versatility out of it in that they're adjustable for different sizes. But every competitor on the market fails, and users tell us it's somewhere in the adjustment mechanism. They couldn't quite tell us what it was or what was failing, but they knew that after a couple hundred cuts every time, regardless of what brand they used, they were going to suffer this failure. We took this message back to our engineering team, and they pulled these tools apart and they looked at it, and they discovered that the entire thing was held together by a little tiny clip called an E-clip. After a couple hundred routine cuts, that thing falls off, rendering the tool completely useless. So we challenged our engineer team with this message, and they redesigned it from the ground up, leading to the industry's first E-clip free design for a mini cutter. And for the user, that means it's going to deliver 5 times longer life than even our leading competitors in the space. Again, you get those chrome rollers for durability, and then we packed in other features for ease of use. Quick and easy blade change. You simply push a pin, slide it out, swap your blades out, and even look at the geometry of the handle so it's easier to turn, easier to manipulate as you're completing cut. Here, I'll pass this around for you guys. So we launched a 1/2 inch and a 1 inch. We're going to introduce a 3/4 inch, fill out that line and have a larger product landscape for the users. Now, in terms of constant swing cutters, these are more the general purpose cutter. This is what a user will reach to if they have the proper space, such as cutting on pipe vise or cutting by hand. It's their go-to tool. It's absolutely critical that these cut straight. And a lot of competitors will struggle with walking, meaning the tool will pass across a different line and spiral around the pipe instead of completing one straight clean cut. So we use a 4-roller design. 4 rollers means whether you're cutting 1/2 inch, you're cutting 1 inch, you're cutting 1.5 inches, it's going to fit steady on those rollers, it's going to stabilize it as you're using the tool, ultimately leading to straighter, cleaner cuts. That's the #1 user need in the category, so it makes sense to invest in more rollers to deliver on that need. On top of that, users look for quick adjustment. I'll pass this around in a moment. You'll see how smooth this is. This is important because if you're going from a 1.5 inch